Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Today we will have a few articles that are contradicting one another, or not necessarily contradicting if I would, have to push it on extreme, but let's say they will not really make sense. Because if you say, oh, the Russians are advancing, and then another article you find out that the Russians are pushed back in the same area, you think, how is that possible? But it's possible in many ways. Probably they're advancing here, pushed back there. This is one source, that's the other source. But nevertheless, let's go with the one that tells us the Russians are really making genuine headway. All right, so this article comes from Republic World and it's dated today, July 6th, 2022. Russia making genuine headway after capturing Lysychansk, officials say. Western officials are claiming, Western officials, not good, that Russian troops are making genuine headway after capturing Lysychansk. In a statement to Guardian, one official said that it, and I'm quoting, remains highly uncertain whether Russia will secure the limits of Donetsk Oblast this year, end quote, but that Russia's attack on Ukraine after Luhansk control have been challenging, quote unquote. Russia has made, and I'm quoting, some significant command changes, end quote, in recent weeks, they told the paper, adding that General Sergei Surovikin, that's his name, who took over the command of the southern group of forces, now focusing on the occupation of southern Ukraine and Donbas regions from the south. And I'm quoting, he's a controversial figure, even by the standards of Russian general officers. It is unclear whether it's his influence which has led to the recent successes around Lysychansk, but certainly there's been better cooperation among groups of forces on the Russian side than we saw in the earlier phases of the war, end quote, the official said. Well, could be one reason. Another one could be that uh, the first generals and the first command had to face a fresh, ready, full army. And after these guys decimated part of it, now they were changed. This guy comes over, and then the opposition is not 100% anymore; it's 10%. So obviously, he's gonna be looking like he's going with like a knife to butter. But what did the other guys do? Maybe they eliminated 90% of the opposition. So now it is true that neither the Russian army is full anymore. It's 100%, right? It was decimated itself as well. But nevertheless, maybe more weapons came to the front. Maybe they use different tactics now. That's all possible. But it's not only that this guy has a bigger thing and everybody's all scared and in awe. Oh my God, he's around here. Could be, but not too many people know this guy. I mean, it's not like let's say General Patton, who was in the middle of his army. He was right there with his jeep and his driver, and he was going right in front of his soldiers or others, fighting right there. It's not like others. So maybe this guy goes up front and they know him and you admire something like this instead of just staying and smoking some cigars and drinking whiskey 1,000 miles away from the front versus the person who's right there with them getting his boots dirty. So I don't know. There are a lot of aspects that could play into this. The key point here is that the Russians are, I think, my assessment, and it had been about 2 weeks and a half when I stated that things are going this way, and that was by the way the Western paid mass media changed its tune a little bit. So before 2 weeks and a half, almost 3 weeks ago, you couldn't hear anything like questioning the victory of Ukraine, the how should I put how do I say the fact that the Russians were losing all the time, were not advancing, they were behind schedule. These were the terms used up to about 2 weeks and a half ago. And after that, certain things started to trickle down. And then it was like, oh, the Russians destroyed this, oh, they advanced there, oh, they took over there. That's the most important thing. Other words were used. And that was the moment when I figured that out, I think, was when some other politicians started saying, "Oh, maybe Ukraine should, not anger Putin, not humiliate Putin." You remember when it was Macron, when it was even Kissinger, Henry Kissinger, the former Secretary of State under Nixon, and I can't remember, I think it was Ford as well. Nevertheless, they started saying things that before it was nothing like it. It was blind support and blind admiration for Zelensky. And this guy started saying that, hey, maybe you should, talk with the Russians. Maybe, whereas before, don't talk to Putin. Had nothing to talk to Putin. Talking to Putin is like talking to Hitler. Stuff like this, like childish behavior. The only person who's really stood his, I don't even know how to put it, was Boris Johnson. But he's the main sponsor of Ukrainians, not the other ones. The other ones are not a sponsor. Great Britain is the main sponsor, not the United States. Great Britain. United States is just the whip, and the hand is Great Britain. So the hand is Great Britain, the whip is United States, and the rest are the Germany, France, Italy, bottom feeders, the rest. So yeah, that's how I see it. And look, everybody had, even Biden. Remember when Biden got into it? Was the same time when he got into with Zelensky about, hey, our intelligence services told Zelensky that Putin might be invading, and Zelensky did not want to hear about it. And Zelensky was, "What are you talking about? No, no, no." So that was another one. The same time it was the whole thing, and then it was Zelensky saying, "We're not gonna, nobody would push us to, give any land to the Russians," and the other ones, "Oh, we don't press them, we don't press them." Well, I mean, it's that thing. It's no smoke without fire or somewhere. It's the same here. When I say, "Oh, you know what? I'm not going to abuse anybody." Did anybody ask you anything about abusing Emil? Why would you just come and say that? You feel like saying it. The conversation was not about that. So when you hear people, no, 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 we will not force Ukraine to go and negotiate with Putin. Did anybody ask you about that? Why did you just come up? That means there is behind the scenes something that urges you to make clear, in case everybody else heard something. Nevertheless, the Russians advanced. Now it seems like they broke the front. That's what break the camel's back. Severodonetsk and Lysychansk. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.